So Gab, thank you so much for joining me from all the way from Jerusalem, and as you know, I'm in Australia, so really appreciate that. I just wanted to kick off by getting you to
Thank you, James.
explain, who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is David Gabriel Goldenberg from 11 Ads for Brands, and I've been in digital for about 15 years, past 4 in Amazon. And with a lot of God's help and some great colleagues and products, helped grow a Amazon seller from $30 million a year to $82 million a year. I had the privilege of leading the marketing there. And we did a lot with sponsored brands, where the sponsored brand sales went from $200,000 a month year over year, went to over 650. Around midway through the year, they're already at 500 plus. So learned a lot about that. And now started a specialized agency focused just on sponsored brands, and in particular, the very competitive keywords that are hard to win on, and different tactics around that. And that's my professional bio.
Thank you. And straight into it. So it's now 2022, right? So what is top of mind for you in terms of sponsored brands advertising? Give us one nitty gritty piece of detail, because I know that's your absolute specialty. So keen to hear what's top of your mind at the moment.
Yeah, so something that we're looking at, which is actually very cool, is that Amazon completed the beta for their Store Spotlight format of sponsored brands. And very few people are using it yet, so it's actually a big opportunity. If you guys are watching this, you should look into that. And in particular, it's a big opportunity for top of funnel keywords, right? For those 1 or 2 word keywords that are usually hard to perform well with a regular sponsored brand. And what you can do with sponsored brand Store Spotlight format, you can basically ask a question, right? So if somebody says, I want a t-shirt, what size, what color, do you want something written on it, what design, all that, right? So you can start segmenting them, and you can offer them, right, some of your main categories in the store, as opposed to just trying to pitch 3 t-shirts to them. I mean, what 3 t-shirts are possibly going to speak to a wide audience like that, right? And that's why normally these top funnel keywords get very low click-through rates. And if you want to win, you want to get the maximum market share, which means high click-through rates, right? So the Store Spotlights allow you to do that if you can figure out, right, what are the next steps that somebody will take after they ask that initial question, right? So for example, you could have funny t-shirts, you could have plain whites, and you could have, I don't know, some other category that is popular in t-shirts. And that's just a really valuable thing, not only because you get more traffic, but also because you're getting higher click-through rates, Amazon rewards you with lower cost per click. And so you can actually win in terms of making it more profitable at the same time as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's super detailed. The fact that it's just come out of beta, very interesting. Already being interesting a couple of minutes into this. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, Gab. So where are you seeing brands fall down at the moment in your specific space?
That's a great question. I think for most brands, it's still the case that they're not using sponsored brand headlines as much as possible. Videos are getting more, but even with the videos, I don't think it's being done as much as possible. And we see that you can get about 30 to 50% of the revenue from sponsored products with sponsored brand headlines, right? That's the ones that appear all the way at the top or at the bottom of the search results, and probably up to another 30% approximately of sponsored product revenue with sponsored brand video. Meaning if you're making $1 million a month from sponsored products, you could be making somewhere between $400,000 to $800,000 a month from sponsored brands. But most brands right now, it's probably about 10 to 20%. This is not just my numbers. Spoke with a big tool vendor in the ad space, and they're seeing basically the same numbers, 10 to 20% of the sponsored product revenue showing up in sponsored brands. And it's just, you guys are leaving so much money on the table.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Again, it's like something. It's so logical when you say it, but when you quantify it like that, certainly, yeah, very, very much an opportunity.
Yeah, because people don't know enough about it. I think Amazon has some information. They're getting better at it, but there's still a lack of information. And other agencies tend to focus on sponsored products because it does generate more sales overall. And so they're also not doing such a great job. And that's something we're trying to do with our Amazon channel, our YouTube channel, excuse me, teaching specifically about sponsored brands in particular. And we're also considering in-house writing the first book on it. So stay tuned. That might be something you guys can get a free chapter from via Merchant Spring and or our channel.
Yeah, fantastic. Looking forward to it. But look, straight into the next thing, Gab, Walmart. So a lot of people in the Amazon space, funnily enough, are talking about it. And I know you're an Amazon specialist, but I really want to get your read on this. So Walmart Marketplace, like your thoughts on where it will go in 2022. Keen to hear. What are your thoughts?
It's a great question. I saw a great post on that recently. I can share it with you. But I think if they increase access to their marketplace, that'll help a lot of people. It's not my original ideas. Again, I need to share with you that link. But they're growing a lot. If they can focus on making it as easy to use and giving sellers as much data as possible, right? So that they can optimize, right? How does business become successful? It's not just by getting lucky. You have to read your data and optimize, right? This is true of marketing. It's true of inventory. It's true of everything. Basically, you do something, measure how it does, and optimize, right? And you can call that measurement all kinds of different things, but it's execution and research or analysis, right? And the faster you can go through that cycle, the more times you can go through it, the more successful you are. So if they want sellers to grow on their platform, they need to allow them to go through that process as fast as possible. And they need to do as much as possible to bring people to their website, because the more people shopping, the more sellers are going to want to sell there. The biggest thing holding sellers back is that there's not as many people on the website shopping as possible. And so whatever they can do to get people there, you know, even if it's just subsidizing people, instead of spending money on, you know, ad campaigns, subsidize the products, spend $1 billion on making 50% off, you know, just get people signed up on the account, you know, and once they shop there, right, they build the habit and so on. So I think those are some things that they can do to help, but it's not my specialty. I think if people are already on Amazon and they haven't really blown it up, there's probably more growth there before expanding on another channel.
Very pragmatic advice again from you. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. And there's one last surprise question for you, Gab. I didn't mention this earlier. So
okay.
Multi-Amazon selling, like across the world, in your mind, is it a true value add, or is it just an unnecessary complexity? What's your thinking?
That's a great question. I wish I knew more about it. First thing, I have to admit, it's not something I'm very knowledgeable about. I think the same idea as with Walmart, right? Like if you're a small business, if we're going to talk in terms of employees, right? So if you're under 20, maybe if you're under 50 employees, you can probably still grow on your core marketplace. Certainly if you're on Amazon America or UK or Germany, Japan, right? But if you've tapped that out, then it makes sense. But why add all this extra thing? Why divert your attention? And I've seen a lot of our clients have that, and they don't really need to follow up with it because it just ends up being a distraction. So if you're not going to optimize it, don't start it, right? Business success comes from research and execution, and you got to go through that cycle. But if you don't have the time to take away from your main thing to do that, don't bother in the first place, because you need to optimize.
Yeah, makes sense. But then again, to your point earlier, if you've tapped out your home marketplace fully, maybe it is an opportunity.
There you
go. Interesting. Cool. Well, look, I'll leave it there, Gab, as I know we like to keep these short and sharp. But again, thank you so much, and looking forward to having you back when your book's out. We can ask you a few questions about that. So thank you.
That'd be fun. James, thanks for having me. If you guys like, you can check us out. It's 011 Ads for Brands on YouTube or 011adsforbrands.com. Thanks a bunch.